On this episode, we review our recent trip to Volcano Bay, the Universal Orlando theme parks, and our first stay at Lake Nona Wave Hotel. Today is May 6, 2022, and this is episode 458 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you are looking for a stroller rental, crib rental, or an ECV rental, you want to check out Kingdom Strollers. They will deliver it straight to your theme park, resort, hotel, or vacation home free of charge, and their prices are up to 50% off the price at the actual theme parks. If you visit msmfriends.com, you can reserve today and check out our additional partners. Then finally, if you're getting ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, maybe looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. Happy early Mother's Day, Rhonda.
Oh, thank you.
And happy early Mother's Day to all of our moms out there. Hope you guys have a wonderful day on Sunday. We will actually be spending it at home. This is one of the few years we won't be at Disney.
Yes,
because
which is weird.
we were at the theme parks the last 2 weekends. We're heading down next Sunday, so couldn't really fit it in. But yeah, we tend to love being at Disney Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
Normally, it's got a lot less crowds. I think that for the most part, moms don't want to go to Disney because a large portion of them would just be chasing their children all around theme parks all day. So I think they tend to stick at home.
Yeah.
I have a little surprise for you, though.
Oh,
You're going to roll your eyes at me. And this comes from our listener, Emily Penner. She was bored and decided to do some math for us regarding Satali Canteen. So get this, if you were to pick one meat, your one base, and your one sauce, right, which would be your normal combo, there are 165 different combinations.
What? How?
Isn't that insane? Because you have to take each of the individual meats, the bases, the sauces, and think of how all the different combinations.
Holy moly.
Even if all you do is take chicken, there's like 4 or 5 different bases. There's 4 or 5 different sauces. So when you look at that one chicken dish could have a multitude of dozens of different options. She said if you were able to, now you can combine the chicken and the beef, but if you were able to basically combine any of the proteins into getting 2 meats, so you did 2 meats, a base, and a sauce, you would look up to 330 combinations.
Holy moly, that's insane.
Do you have anything you would like to say to me when you were rolling your eyes when I said that you could go eat every meal at Satali Canteen for a 2-week vacation and never eat the same thing twice? You could go for half a year vacation and never eat the same thing twice.
I apologize. So, you were right.
No, but thank you, Emily, for doing that math.
Wow,
she
thanks,
basically
Emily.
said she needed a break from her finals, and she was listening to that episode where we were talking about that. And so I'm glad she did the math because I told her I don't know how to do that math. So I'm very appreciative that she did it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we're going to talk about our recent trip last weekend. We went to Volcano Bay, we went to the Universal Parks, and we stayed for the first time ever at Lake Nona Wave Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Lake Nona. And we're going to get to that hotel in just a few. Rhonda's already chuckling because it's going to be fun. We're going to really dive into, I think, a very specific part of this hotel room that people will find interesting. But first, let's talk about Volcano Bay. When had we last, do you think, been to Volcano Bay? Last August, maybe? If maybe September of 2021? It had really been some time.
Yeah, we haven't gone this year.
No, we have not at all. We have not gone in 2022.
Well, we did a lot then last year.
Yes, we did a ton last year.
Which was fantastic. I really enjoy Volcano Bay.
Yeah. This is one of those, and we ended up bringing the girls' good friend Cassidy, and she is an annual pass holder, but with the 2 parks, So her parents bought her a 1-day Volcano Bay ticket. It
Which
cost us
pass holder-
$75.
Mm-hmm.
It's not horrible.
No.
But it is one of those things to consider, I think, when you are looking at your annual pass for Universal, whether you're doing 2-park or 3-park. Right. Much like Disney, Disney's add-on is $99, or you're going to pay, well, right now you can pay $49 for a day.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing here. Basically, I think the difference is going to come down to if you think you could visit Volcano Bay twice in a calendar year, it's probably worth that upgrade to the 3-park, which is the whole reason we did it. We've certainly got our money's worth. Same with our $99 add-on for Disney water parks. We've already been to Typhoon, 3 times?
I believe so.
This year since we renewed in February.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 months, we've more than made our money back,
right.
And we're heading back on the 23rd of June, and I'm sure many more times. So, but one thing we want to talk about Volcano Bay is you can go back. We've done a full Volcano Bay episode back. I probably would have been June 2020 when everything reopened and we went for the first time, and really nothing has changed for the most part.
Yeah,
a couple little restrictions obviously have been lifted and such, but we thought if you listen to the episode it would have been Friday, the day we were heading down. What was our plan?
Well, we were going to try to save some money, and we were going to go ahead, since we had 3 girls, we were going to go ahead and make us all lunches, so really we weren't spending too much money in Volcano Bay, because I knew we were going to be spending it, throughout the weekend.
Right.
With, going to Boxy Park and food trucks and food in
Universal. Yeah.
So, yeah, we were going to try to totally save money by getting everything.
And we've done this at Typhoon Lagoon.
Yes.
we've packed full lunches in a cooler with waters and sodas and all that good stuff, and literally not had to spend a dime unless we were getting alcoholic beverages, which of course you can't bring in. So I thought, all right, we're going to go to we went to Publix. We bought deli meat and cheese and sub rolls, and
at least it won't go bad, but we spent over $100 at Publix to make all of our lunches for Volcano Bay.
Well, and the weekend. That also included snacks for the entire weekend and drinks and stuff like that for the whole weekend. But we spent enough. It certainly was going to be a savings on what we would spend at Volcano Bay.
Right.
But, girls were going to make their own subs, and we were going to make ourselves some wraps, some buffalo chicken wraps, and all this good stuff. So I thought, let me just double check the cooler restriction sizes, because I know there's going to be a restriction size on the cooler. Here is what is listed under prohibited items, not only for the theme parks, but for Volcano Bay as well, which is a water park, Universal marketing. Prohibited items, glassware or glass containers. Totally understand. Same at Disney. Open containers or drinks containing alcohol. Drinks containing alcohol, totally understand. Open containers, I don't get that. Hard-sided coolers. Okay, fair enough. Soft-sided coolers larger than 8.5 wide by 6 high by 6 deep, which is barely a cooler. You're not going to fit 5 people's lunches in that. Picnic lunches. Any food that requires heating or refrigeration, folding chairs. So, in my mind, our entire plan has been shot down. But I thought I would get some clarification. So I actually tweeted out to Universal, who, by the way, is always very responsive. They have a wonderful social media team when they're not trying to take stabs at Disney because they're jealous of the theme park down the street. So they I said, can we pack fruit, homemade sandwiches, and bottled water and sodas for Volcano Bay? If so, can we in a cooler the size below with ice? And I had, done a screenshot of their prohibited items. They responded, "Hi, Jeremy. Any picnic lunches would not be permitted into the parks." As I dug deeper, technically, they clarify that you could not even bring any sort of open snack item. Because then I was like, you know what? Fine. We won't take sandwiches.
Right.
I'll make a bunch of peanut butter crackers and Nutella crackers for the girls.
Right.
We got those cool little
Disney
sandwich things from Disney's Flower and Garden Festival scavenger hunt thing. I'm going to pack one filled with Cheetos. I'm going to pack one filled with the crackers. I'm going to pack one filled with another snack. In theory and technically, you are not allowed to bring that in.
Correct.
You would have to bring unopened snacks that would not need to be heated or refrigerated.
Right.
I said, okay, just scrap this whole thing. We're going to have to buy lunch there.
Right.
Whatever.
We did take hot bottles of water and
boiling
soda.
hot bottles of water by the time we got around to them. But luckily, you could go to any of the freestyle machines and get ice, get water,
and we did
for free.
bring in our own cups that were like Yetis.
Yep.
That was empty. And then we got the ice at the freestyle, and then we poured the bottle of water into our ice, and that kept cold, and it was great.
Yeah. But I love the fact that I really like the fact that you can just go to the freestyle machines. You wouldn't have to go to a quick service and ask.
Correct.
It was very, very nice. So I would bring your own beverage container that you can just fill up with ice water at any of the freestyle machines. And we'll talk about their refillable mugs. So we basically packed an unopened bag of Doritos and an unopened bag of pork rinds for you and I, which we would then leave in the car and completely forget. So we showed up completely unprepared.
To be honest, though, it was in the back behind that. Yeah, so let's talk about parking real quick.
Let me preface this real quick for anyone who is going to listen to some of these things we were saying and roll your eyes because they are Universal pros.
Oh yeah,
we are still not. You know, we've now been going to Universal. June will be 2 years since we became pass holders.
Yep.
We have been many
yes.
times since then. We are nowhere near pros on Universal. We are learning every time we go as much as we did the first, 2-3 years we went to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a new experience. Our new experience this time was going to be parking for Volcano Bay.
Yeah.
Now, we had parked for the theme parks in City Walk. We had not specifically parked for Volcano Bay, so I will turn it back over to you, Rhonda. I just want to preface it with that.
Well, and I'm going to preface it and go back to, I remember one time going to the parks, and when we pulled up, she said Volcano Bay or the parks, and we were like, the parks, and I just kind of didn't even think twice about it, and we moved on. This time it was Jeremy went on his side. I think it was just easier. I was driving and I was like, here, I'm gonna let you do it. The team member did not ask what park. They just scanned the thing and put our Prime
because we get the Prime parking included
and the flashers, and then sent us on. So we basically parked like we were parking for the parks, which then sent us. So we were parked in King Kong. So we literally had to walk all the way, and I still have a broken toe. It is healing, thank God. I'm not taping it anymore, and I feel like I definitely can tell a change.
You're looking better as far as you're walking and such. Yes,
but we parked at King Kong, and if, again, you are a pro, you will know. We parked at King Kong. We walked all the way to where you almost go to enter.
It's a completely other. It's the
City
other parking.
Walk.
Yeah, it's the other
but
parking
then you
structure.
go down to Cat in the Hat, all the way over there to down, and then walk all the way through that parking garage to a bus.
Yeah.
And now there is security right there, which was fantastic.
There's also parking for Volcano Bay right there.
Yes.
Which, again, we were unaware of. I'm carrying our pool bag, our water park bag, which is filled with towels. It's filled with hot waters and sodas. I'm pretty sure there might have been a human being in it, either that or a cinder
heavy.
block. I'm not sure what else was in it, but it was extremely heavy carrying it all the way. But just, again, something to note, if you're, I'll still consider us a newbie, especially when it comes to it. We know our way around the two theme parks. We know some stuff. Yeah. But again, we're learning, and we learned that if we are going to park for Volcano Bay,
make sure you say the team. Tell the team member.
Volcano Bay. Otherwise, you have quite a walk, quite a haul in front of you. So again, just little tips as we learn them. We want to pass them on to you. If you are a Universal Pro, I'm looking at you, John. You already knew this information, and it's information I wish we had prior. So let's talk, though. We did have to go ahead and purchase food.
Yes, we did.
Something else that is going to come into play here, and we'll talk about our first purchase for the girls, which we went up and used cash. It was earlier in the day. There weren't any lines. Later in the afternoon, we usually have cash on us for purchases like quick service lunches, things like that. Later in the afternoon, when we talk about Rhonda and I's meal, it was not an option because the lines were so freaking long.
Mm-hmm.
You had to mobile order,
Yeah.
basically. So first, let's talk about the refillable cups that are in the parks. You can get them at the resorts. We have done these in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We did not bring ours because you can get it actually reactivated for, I believe it's like $11.99 or $12.99.
We need to find those and then just make sure
and
we
just have them with us all the time. But anyway, you can use them at any of the Coke Freestyle machines throughout the park, throughout the hotels, vice versa, back and forth. Did I ever tell you my vice versa story?
When
we were pulling, it actually might have been when I was wrapping the gum around my head going to Myrtle Beach, and we were pulling in, and we always met my mom's family there from Durham. We were coming from Maryland, and we were pulling right up to it on the main street before we're getting to our house that we rented. And I think my dad said, "Wouldn't that be funny if that was like Grandma and Judy in front of us?" Or no, my mom said it, and my dad said, "Or vice versa." And I said, "Who's that?" Anyway, just a story about that. So anyway, so the price for these refillable mugs, if you get one, is $16.99.
Okay.
What is great that if you then get 3 to 6 cups, they're $13.99 each. If you were to get 2, they're $15.99. So again, 1 for $16.99. They go down a little bit the more you get, and then you can add on extra days of refills through your stay for $9.99, basically. These are awesome. I mean, we often get these. We refilled ours all day long.
And you can get ices in that, which the girls love that. So I love that for them.
When you're looking at it at this point, and I don't know the exact price of an icy, we had 3 girls with us. If they each got one icy that day, we've already probably paid for our refillable cup.
Right. And we only got the 1 cup. So, we're all family. So we were all kind of drinking from the same cup. But they kept filling it up with ices. Then at one point we filled it up with something soda from the freestyle. And
I needed a Coke Zero.
Well, I just say for the freestyle, holy moly, is amazing. I do wish they were all over Disney because the what am I trying to say? The variety
it's insane.
Is so amazing.
Emily, I got a job for you. Will you find out how many different combinations there are at freestyle? If you were not only how many individual flavors there are, but
zero
what if
sugars?
You mixed flavors?
Oh Lord, there's gonna be a lot. But there's 0 sugars for like us that we're trying to stay away from. I loved that.
Yeah.
There was full fat Cokes and full, and then
name
Coke
a fruit.
Zero.
Name a fruit. Right?
Raspberry.
And that's included in pretty much any of your standard sodas.
And
Cokes
what I
and
thought
Sprites and Minute Maid, lemonade. I mean, it was amazing.
And what I thought was really cool was there was a cherry limeade, which sugar-free, and we got that. I think there was a regular one too.
We did
possibly.
a raspberry. I ended up doing a raspberry, I think, too, or something.
Did you?
I don't know. But it was
good. It was great.
Yeah. And yeah, so highly recommend you get these, especially for the parks. Kaylin actually, and maybe we'll have her do a little guest spot on the next episode. Kaylin actually today at 1 p.m. Went to school this morning at 1 p.m. She heads on a charter bus with all of her 8th grade classmates down to Universal Studios for Grad Venture tonight. They actually get a meal ticket and they get a refillable cup, I believe. So that just popped in my head. We may have to have her on to talk about how Grad Venture was. But so we went ahead and got that first when we did the girls' order, and they just wanted a pizza. It was the easiest thing to get for the 3 of them to split. So at Kahola Reef Restaurant and Social Club, it is the one that was closest to where our seats were. By the way, another quick tip for Volcano Bay is rope drop that sucker for a good seat.
Yep. Especially if you want an umbrella. They have plenty.
Yes.
But that's everybody gets the umbrellas first. You do want to get one, especially if you're going to stay there and you have a person that you're traveling with that is like Jeremy, where he does not mind staying at a water park all day, but he needs to get out of the sun sometimes, and he can stay a lot longer when he does.
Yeah, sun draws life from me. Like it just sucks the life out of me. It really, really does. But so anyway, so this is where we were able to, this was like 11 a.m. I think. So, no lunch crowds. We were able to easily walk up, use cash, got them the cheese pizza for $11.99. They do sell combos, which run a bit more, that come with a milkshake. All combos throughout Volcano Bay water parks, it says is a milkshake. But like when we talk about our burger, a regular burger still comes with fries. If you make it a combo, it comes with a milkshake.
That's funny.
And I know like a milkshake, I guess, sounds good on a hot Florida day, but I don't know. It sounds
It also sounds
filling. I don't want
too
dairy
much.
on a hot Florida day. Right?
Yeah, that's like, what's his face? Milk was a bad decision.
Yeah, a little Ron Burgundy up in there. But they loved their pizza. I did not try any
It
because
looked
they went
amazing.
through it so quick. Yeah. What I would like to ask next time when we order it is if they are able to cut it.
Yes.
I was able to go ahead and cut it with a plastic knife. It worked out fine, but it would be nice. And it is literally this longboard pizza.
Yeah, it's super cool looking.
14 inches wide.
Looks like a surfboard.
Maybe 7 inches deep.
Mm-hmm.
But they absolutely loved it, devoured it. We got a side of fries.
Side of fries, yep. And they
Fries
ate all
were very,
those.
very
Yes,
good.
they were. We ate a few of those.
So by the time Rhonda and I were ready to eat, it was like 1 or so, probably 1:30. We're talking prime lunchtime. And so I actually went and said, Rhonda was just like, go get me something to eat. I'm starving. My toe is broke. I'm not getting up. I said, okay. So I went and started adventuring. I'm like, let me find the shortest line. So I go and I make my way around and I see a space that has, and most of the restaurants, quick service here have grab and go items. So I see there's a really good looking grab and go Cobb salad. The issue that I don't understand, and maybe I was just wrong. Again, we're learning. I get the grab and go item. There is no grab and go register. So you basically are only grabbing a pre-made salad to then go stand in the line with the 40, 50 people that still have to go up and order and pay. You know what I mean? So I put the salad back. I'm like, forget this. So I make it back to our seat, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to bring up the app, and I'm just going to have to mobile order. I don't want to go stand in a long line. So I go ahead.
We were trying at first, let's say, we were first trying to do the tuna poke bowl.
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
Over at Leaping Frogs.
And unfortunately,
I went and stood in line for close to 10 minutes and saw one order placed and one order given out. So I said, forget this. Yeah. So I left that. That's when I then, I'm glad you brought that up. That's when I then went and thought I'll get the grab and go, which is really a grab and wait. So I put that back. So then I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and mobile order. Again, we were hoping to use cash. That's what we brought it for. First of all, cash was pointless this entire weekend. We'll talk about that later too for anyone that visits Lake Nona. So anyway, we ended up under the burgers and barbecue section. What did we get, Rhonda?
Well, we got the koala burger platter, which was $16.49. It is crispy fried onions, pickled jalapenos, fresh cabbage, mango basil slaw, and avocado mayo on a toasted Hawaiian style bun with fries. I really liked this.
It was a big
It was.
Burger.
It was very
with all the stuff on it.
And at this point now, poor, like we just said, poor Jeremy, he went to try to get us one healthy thing, then the second healthy thing. And then at this point we're like, all right, I'm just hungry and we need to eat.
Yeah, let's eat a burger and fries.
Let's just eat. We're on vacation. Let's just eat a burger and fries. Thinking maybe, the place where we're staying will have more healthy options tonight. So, and I really like this. I think, what was your thoughts, Jeremy? Because
I thought it was a really, really good idea. And I think all the flavors were spot on. For me, the burger got lost was my only gripe is that.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah. I mean, I love a burger with a lot of good toppings. I still want to taste the burger. Mm-hmm. And for me, I just didn't taste the burger. I tasted everything else. Yep. So I did enjoy it. It was almost like, did you need all of it? Like, maybe take the cabbage off because you already have the slaw. And maybe that would have done it. I don't know. I thought it was a lot going on, but I didn't dislike it. I probably wouldn't get it again. I'd rather go for just a burger, with maybe just cheese and ketchup.
Yeah.
Or something, or just the crispy fried onions or just the jalapenos or just the slaw, something like that. I just want to taste the burger, but fries are great.
Oh, yeah.
Overall, I thought it was I will say this, other than just not being able to really taste the meat of the burger, this did not seem like a burger you got from a quick service spot in a water park.
Yeah,
to me,
I agree.
This actually seemed like a burger you'd get at a sit-down restaurant.
It was very good looking. I feel like very
they were
Instagram.
putting them right on a griddle. Yeah, they were cooking them right on a griddle, right in front of you as you ordered.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I was very, very impressed with the quality of it.
I would
Everything
get
down
this
to the
again.
Hawaiian bun. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had a great time at Volcano Bay. We hung out till about 3
We actually
3
did
or so,
stay for
almost
a
4
little
o'clock.
while.
We were there for about 5-6 hours. Rode the rides, that we could. Again, we have found, and we're very fortunate that we are water park annual pass holders to both Disney and Universal. We can go and take it up in a much more relaxed atmosphere. Right. Where if we don't do every ride, we just don't do every ride. I hate the stairs. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the fact that you go to Typhoon and you go up these stairs, right? Mm-hmm. And you're on top of the tallest ride. But when you look out, you pretty much just see trees. Mm-hmm. And you're so immersed. Something gets to me, and I'm not a big fan of heights in general. If I don't feel secure, there's something about climbing up on some of those, like the big family ride, the 5-person family ride. When I get up there, I'm like queasy almost, because you look over and there's like a Sherman-Williams and there's a parking lot and there's office. I don't know. There's something about it. I feel weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. The ride is awesome once you get on it.
Oh yeah.
But once I'm halfway up, I absolutely hate it. And Lacey was like behind me dancing, and I could feel like the ground shaking a little bit below me. Do you see me? I'm just standing in the middle, like almost closing my eyes. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I did.
But
I will say the reason we stayed so late too is it was spoiler alert. It was a wonderful weekend with the kids and the family, and it was awesome. And Cassidy's like our third daughter basically. So since her parents bought a ticket, we asked the girls, well, you just let us know when you're ready. And so they actually, that's why we stayed for quite some time before we headed to the hotel.
Yeah. We're normally a 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Is what we do water parks is 10 to 2. We'll start our day that way. We'll finish out the evening at another park or back at a resort or whatever. But everybody keeps asking who maybe has not been to Volcano Bay or maybe hasn't even been to the Disney water parks. And they say, what's the best? Is Volcano Bay better than Disney water parks? Here's my statement. Volcano Bay is the best water park. Typhoon Lagoon is my favorite. Mm-hmm. Like, hands down, Volcano Bay destroys Disney's water parks as far as rides. The theming is very, very good, although it doesn't tell a story. Like Blizzard Beach has a specific backstory. Yeah. Typhoon Lagoon has a specific backstory. If there's a backstory to Volcano Bay, I don't know it because I don't think it's very prominent or advertised. But there is no doubt that is an absolutely incredible water park. If you were looking for the thrill, the size, the all of that stuff, and you go, all right, I've got money to buy 1-day water park tickets to Orlando somewhere for my family, I would recommend Volcano Bay. If you want a relaxed, themed, immersive atmosphere with an incredible wave pool that will knock you on your butt, I would go Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah.
Do you agree? What are your thoughts on it?
I do. And I'm going to give a little testimonial from my client and friend, Nate. He went to take their son to Typhoon, and they actually got I guess you call it the cabana, right?
Yep.
I do believe he said it was $300.
This sounds about right.
And you can add more people for $25. Like, it goes up to, I think he said the one they had 6, and then you can add more people for like $25, which is kind of good to know.
I really want to rent one of those this summer.
Yeah. He said it was fantastic. He could just look down and see the boys because he did bring friends for his son, and his son's not a crazy rider yet. So this park, he said, was absolutely perfect for his family and perfect for the son because he rode everything at Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah.
He also mentioned that a cast member told him that the reason Blizzard Beach is shut down and for quite some time is because they are adding the things to take up the rafts like Volcano Bay. And that is the one thing I said seeing Volcano Bay, and you walk up the stairs and they have those conveyor belts that take the...
I love that.
Yes. Well, that's what he said. So
okay, nice.
That'd be amazing.
I know they're doing their standard, refurbishment that they do basically every year. They swap one park. That would be wonderful if they're adding those though. Because I love Crush and Gusher at Typhoon. But man, you got to carry that freaking tube, that 2-person tube up all those stairs.
Yep.
I would love to just show up top and they're like, "Here's your raft, sir."
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's move on before we talk about our Saturday in the Universal theme parks. Let's move on to Lake Nona Wave Hotel. Lake Nona is a new thriving area. This is actually where WDI, Walt Disney Imagineering, is moving all these employees from California to Orlando, is the Lake Nona area. This is a very, up and coming community. Rhonda, just go through real quick this hotel, go through some of our bullet point, we'll call them the facts of Lake Nona Wave Hotel.
Okay. So it is 234 high-tech guest rooms, including 18 artistic suites. It is a lively living room lobby, colorful pool deck with stylish cabanas, 2 destination restaurants, 2 mixology-driven bars, techno gym-powered fitness studio, access to Lake Nona Performance Club, over 12,000 square feet of high-tech infused event space, and 6 miles from Orlando International Airport.
Yeah, so again, if you're thinking of location, airport location, basically.
Yep.
First of all, this is a absolutely, there's 2 words that you just heard a lot. It was high-tech, artistic. And those are the 2 ways I would describe this hotel.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely beautiful. It is this towering glass tower, kind of just in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, as you approach. And literally, I mean, there's a center area that basically it's like a cutout from the hotel that looks like a wave. It's like wavy going up. And, this lively living room lobby, again, it's very cool. Modern. I don't even know if this is the right term or not. Modern art deco. For example, here's how you want to this will explain everything you need to know about the decoration of this lobby. There is a couch that is sitting on its side.
And you can sit on it. It does move a little bit, and it scared me. I was like, please don't fall.
So just think of that, and that will explain the rest of this. But very, very inviting, open. The bar is right there.
There's stairs, they have stairs, which is going up that you can walk up, but then they have like a handrail. And then on the other side of the handrail, there's still stairs, but they're bigger, so they're like seats, and they got pillows, and it's super cool, and the girls absolutely love that.
They're so excited to sit on those for some reason. And I went down, I took them down the one night, and they were like, can we get Shirley Temples? And I was like, sure. So I went up to the bar, and I was like, 3 Shirley Temples, and the guy handed them to me, and I got my wallet out and all, and he's like, don't worry about it. And so I just tipped him, but he was just like, here you go. I mean, he I'm sure he saw the 3 girls unless he thought I was about to chug 3 Shirley Temples. I'm not sure. But anyway, high tech.
Yes.
This is high tech everywhere. This is very, to me, this is like if Apple opened a hotel.
Okay.
Down to the fact that your key card is a pure white card with no markings or anything on it. Now, it still comes in a little sleeve, and it's got the little Lake Nona Wave Hotel logo on it, and it's very simplistic, and they'll write your room number and everything. But we went ahead and we had a 2-queen room, and first of all, extremely spacious. This is a very large room. Why don't you walk us through a little bit of the layout of the room, and then let's get into some of the tech portions, which, again, spoiler alert, come stay here. Not even kidding. Room rates are going to probably run about $250 to $300 a night on average. If you put this hotel on Disney property, it is automatically a high-end moderate resort, and I only call it a moderate because of the fact that there aren't balconies. If they had balconies on these standard rooms, they do have them in the suites. This, to me, would be a deluxe Disney resort. I think it'd be up there. To me,
there's just no slide at the pool.
Right, no slide at the pool. But if you look at, again, kind of high class luxury, much like Grand Destino Tower, but then throw in all the technology you can possibly think of. So why don't you talk about the room, and let's talk technology.
All right. Well, let's start outside the room. Like Jeremy was saying, how the white card, and it is kind of neat because it's a little circle on the door, which reminds me a little bit of almost like it could almost use a magic band. And then on the side where your number is, there's a doorbell on every single one, so you can ring a doorbell, which is cool. Then you go inside, and when you walk through the door, on your left you have a what am I trying to say? Not bathroom, but a
It's your partial bath. I mean, it's your sink and your shower.
Sink and your shower. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. And the shower is giant. Huge. Whereas the girls took showers together in their bathing suits, and all three of them fit in there with plenty of space still.
Yeah.
There is only one sink though, which is a little surprising, but that's okay. Mirror, beautiful mirror. And your lights are a small little panel that's a touch panel, and you touch them and turn them on and turn them off. And then when you again walk in, when you're standing in the doorway, on your right is the toilet room.
Can I talk about toilet?
Sure.
Okay. I this was a highlight of the entire weekend.
It was very surprising.
And okay, so first of all, what I really like about this room in general, there are certain areas that when you approach them, a dim light comes on.
Yeah.
So, for example, the bathroom.
Yes.
For example, the coffee station. There's a overlight that comes on as soon as you approach it. When it's a pocket door and the toilet is completely separate, again, on the other side of the I guess, foyer as you walk in. When you open the door and you walk into this toilet room, not only does your light come on, your toilet seat opens automatically for you.
Because it's a bidet.
The light in the toilet lights up, and it gives a little spritz to kind of freshen up the water before you do your business.
Mm-hmm.
On the right, next to you, is a complete control panel for this toilet, which includes everything from heavy flushing to light flushing, depending, again, on what business you're doing in there. A front and back bidet, which if you don't know what a bidet is going to shoot water at you and clean you up, right? Yes. It's the best way of putting it. A dryer for after using the bidet.
But when you
dry everything off.
Did you tell them when you sit down?
Oh, also, yes, when you walk into the room, not only does it open the lid, not only does it give you a spritz of fresh water, it lights up, it also warms the toilet seat for you, which is something I never knew I needed. If you're at home and your significant other goes to the bathroom and they get up and you might go immediately after, you know what it's like to sit on a warm toilet seat. It's awesome. It's one of those things you don't know you need it until you have it, And so there's this entire control panel though. There is a hygienic wand. I couldn't get that to work. I don't know what it did.
Oh my goodness.
I will say again, it's one of those things like I had never personally used a bidet.
Yeah, me neither. For the first time in 42 years of my life, I did. It was interesting.
I remember I used to go, we'd go to my parents' house and my dad had an 80-inch TV, right? And I think at the time we had like a 60-inch, and we'd get home and I would just look at my TV and just be like, who are you even? Like, you're not even worth it. How dare you not be an 80-inch TV? That's how I feel about our toilet right now. I came home and had to use our toilet and I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I using this mediocre run-of-the-mill toilet that has no extras? I have to flush it myself because this thing, even though there is a flush button, it also auto flushes when you get up. I gotta say, if you think a bidet is going to be weird, you are 100% accurate, but it is also extremely awesome.
Yeah.
I'm the type that I'm a phone scroller when I go to the bathroom. This would keep me on a toilet twice as long easily, just to relax, because it was absolutely incredible. I'm not saying that every hotel needs to have all these features of a bidet and self-opening and all that, but every single hotel I think should have an automatic flushing toilet.
Okay.
The way that most do in
the
theme parks or restaurants and things like that. I wish the hotels had them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just do. I just think it's a nice feature and it saves me time and effort not having to flick that little handle down. That's the level of laziness that I've gotten to in my life at 42 years old, Rhonda. Is that I don't have time to be flushing toilets on my own, okay? I really need them to automatically sense when I have removed my butt from their seat to flush themselves.
Okay.
And every toilet should have a bidet.
Okay.
It was awesome. Okay, you can get into the rest of the room if you'd like.
Let's see. Well, like you said, the coffee bar, which was super cool. The light came on, but it was also an actual espresso.
Yeah. Nespresso was the brand, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which is an espresso machine.
It's super cool and had real cups and tiny spoons.
Tiny spoons.
And then, and I had a cup each morning after I figured it out. Like, I think I ruined a cup.
I think it does take a PhD.
It does. Holy moly.
You didn't realize at first that there was an instruction manual right next to it, right? On that little placard?
Yeah, it still was confusing though.
Yeah, okay. I did not try to operate it. I'm not good.
No, but I did it. I learned and I figured it out. Then I asked for more coffee. But speaking of asking for coffee, so
asking for anything.
Asking for anything. Well, first, also they had a very giant TV. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, would you say
65 maybe or so? 60, 65.
It was very large, and on your dresser there was an iPad and an iPad charger. And you could pick it up and all kinds of things. You can look at the hotel. You can, see all kinds of things. But this is where you ask. It's not like you pick up a phone and call.
Down to guest services.
Whatever, yeah. And it was funny. So, the girls were like, oh, I want to do this and order this. You do have light switches, like I said, like in the bathroom where you touch them. And everything is like a solid, like just touch panel.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's more of a touch panel than it is. It's not a switch.
Right.
In the general sense of anything. Yeah.
And then it's super cool because the blinds, which you do have a sheer curtain, and then you have the blackout, what they call the blackout curtains. Those are also on the iPad and also on a panel that you don't touch them. You just hit the panel. Or hit the iPad and it'll open and close them.
Well, in addition, so I'd already downloaded the Wave Hotel app to my phone. Mm-hmm. So as soon as we walked in the door, I got a push notification that said, your room has now been paired with your phone.
Yes.
And so
you could do the same
I could do
things.
everything from my phone as well.
Down
to controlling the TV, which had a full guide in the phone, to controlling the curtains, the lights. The only thing I think it didn't control was my toilet. Which, by the way, I did name Tom Toilet.
Which was funny because speaking of that, I think it was, were you in the bathroom or were you in the shower?
Most likely I was on the toilet because I got the most use out of that thing as I could.
Well, anyway.
I named it, Rhonda. You guys, I greeted it when I...
Yeah, y'all, you're so weird.
Lacey did too.
So weird.
He's saying hello. He opens the lid. That's just... The only thing I do wish is that it talked. I was saying, like, there's got to be one out there. They weird. Actually, this was invented years and years ago on Scrubs. They had a talking doctor toilet. But it would be neat, like, if you imagine though going to the bathroom and then the toilet is like, you need more water today. You're underhydrated. Or you go to the bathroom and it's like, hope you have a good day, Jeremy, but you need more fiber.
Okay.
Tell me that wouldn't be cool.
I knew this episode was going to be all talk about toilet and bathroom.
You refer to him as Tom.
Okay. Anyways, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I was at.
Yeah, I know we're all over the place now, but
I turned the light out because with the iPad, I turned the light out on Jeremy. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I was in the shower and you turned the light off on me, and then I can just hear four women snickering outside. And you guys think it's hilarious.
It was funny.
I could have been severely injured. What if at that moment I was trying to exit the shower, you turn the light off, and I lose my footing or something? Not so funny. It probably would still be pretty funny. Let me touch on the shower real quick. Two things that I was super impressed by that you're going to think I'm crazy for. First of all, there are two shower heads. You have your main head and then you have a wand that you can pull off. Another thing you don't really know you needed, but when you're washing certain areas, that thing is super handy. So I really like that. But that's not the cool thing. What I love, and I wish that our shower did, is that the handle to turn it on is not underneath the shower head.
Yep.
Like in our shower, you basically have to pull some sort of weird stunt maneuver to turn the water on without being hit by a freezing cold stream first.
Yeah.
This one, you literally had three handles inside the door, opposite of the actual shower heads. One was to control the wand, one was to control the overhead shower, one was to control the temperature. So you could turn all those and never get hit by that cold water.
Correct.
The other thing that was super impressive is that the shower door, this is all glass, not only swung out, but also swung in. Why is that cool? Because on the outside of that door is a towel bar for your towel. Most showers like that, you have to swing the door out. Well, your towel's on the outside of the door, which means you basically have to step outside of the shower, reach around and get your towel.
Right.
This one swung right in. I grabbed my towel off. I like to dry off while I'm still in the shower because there's still some warmth in there.
Yes.
So I was able to do that, close the door back. I just thought that was really, really impressive.
Yeah.
From a doing makeup style standpoint, how was that big ring light that was around the mirror? Was that good for that? I mean, I know you also had like a little portable mirror. I know Kaylin was using one day, but was the lighting and stuff good in there for?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
I took the little mirror because I, 3 girls and Jeremy, we were not
4.
Right, but we're not changing in front of him and stuff. So I tried to keep the bathroom clear. Each one, because I was like, y'all can change in the toilet room too.
Yeah, because each time, I mean, why wouldn't you change in the toilet room? You're already greeted. Might as well have a seat. It's going to be warm.
Okay.
Hang out for a bit. I only wish they had the Nespresso machine in the toilet room.
Oh, gross.
Okay,
Let's stop.
What else we got
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I didn't really. But the beds were super comfortable.
Oh my goodness. I will venture to say this is the most comfortable hotel mattress I've ever slept on.
Oh, okay.
I love the ones, if you get an upgraded Disney mattress, and I'm just going to use Coronado Gran Destino for an example, because we know they're some of the newest, absolutely the best mattresses on property. Mm-hmm. This to me was just a level above, and the pillows were perfect as well, where they were that perfect thickness where you could use 2 of them, but you maybe only needed 1 depending on how you sleep.
And they also had robes because Kaylin used those a couple of times.
Yeah.
There was 2. She was the only
2
one.
2 Dasani waters came with the room.
Yep. And not charging.
No.
So
there was a table with 2 chairs.
Yep.
The 2 beds, end table between the 2 beds, dresser with plenty of storage. There was also a wardrobe, closet with plenty of storage. And again, this is one of those where, a lot of times, look at the Disney rooms. If you stand at the end of your bed, you're 3 feet to dresser.
Yeah.
This was 5 feet, maybe. I mean, this was very, very spacious.
It was.
My only gripe about the entire actual room, and it was fine for us, we were only there for 2 nights, is the mini fridge is like super mini.
Yeah, it is.
It's smaller than the Disney mini fridges because it was only like 6 inches deep.
Yeah.
It fit everything we needed. It was fine, but I did keep my cooler for like waters and stuff.
Your other gripe was the ice bucket.
Yeah, there is not.
So
yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
There's not an ice bucket in there. Like I said, this iPad, this is where you ask for everything. Now it was really cool because the girls asked, they did have for free, bath salts, and that was super exciting for them. But you could also ask for another robe, and you can ask for a ton of stuff. But in this was also the ice bucket, and I mean, Jeremy literally went looking, and there's no ice.
No, there's not an ice machine.
So you have to ask, because even when you get the ice bucket to go refill it yourself, you cannot.
Right.
So this ice bucket is super cool and modern, but it's super tiny.
Yeah. I mean, we were getting ice literally to make drinks. We've got 2 20-ounce Yetis.
So
enough ice came in it basically for our 2 drinks, which means that when we wanted another drink, we would have to order another ice bucket. Again, not an issue. They were super attentive. They were super quick, wonderful. Just for something like ice, I just don't want to have to order it every time.
But here's also something different with the ice compared to just like, let's say you're just going to get some extra towels. The ice always had like a time on it.
Yes, it did.
So, and it seemed like no matter when we ordered it, we would try to do a half hour, but it was an hour.
Yeah.
So that was also a little like, oh man. And now there was a chat. You probably could have like tried to ask like, hey, we're about to leave. More. Can you bring 2 or whatever? Because you can't ask for 2 or more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No privacy signs. Why, Rhonda?
Because there was, again, on the touch panel, a privacy button. And when you hit that, it turns a red ring around the doorbell.
I thought that was really cool.
I did too.
I like, that's another just nice little touch. Because if we're just going to break things down and I'm too freaking lazy to flush a toilet, when you have a privacy sign on your door, at least for us, every dang time I open the door,
oh yeah, that's true.
the privacy sign from like the wind or whatever of opening the door falls off onto the ground, and I got to pick it up and put it back on,
that's
and then slowly close the door so it doesn't fall off again. Mm-hmm. So just putting that out there. I'm sure there's people that can relate, but this is one of my favorite hotel rooms I've ever stayed in.
Yeah, it was really cool.
All right. Aventura has the iPads. You can control the lights. You can control the TV. You can order stuff from the front desk. But to me, Aventura does not pull it off. To the fact that the iPad to me at Aventura is obtrusive. I don't like it. I don't want to use it. I didn't use the iPad a lot because I had my phone.
Right.
And it was so easy to do all the exact same stuff in my phone.
Right.
Lake Nona Wave Hotel is everything Aventura should be, even down to this modern but comfortable setting and decor in the room. Mm-hmm. Aventura to me is very sterile throughout. You know, it's a concrete lobby. The rooms are not inviting. I don't think they're comfortable feeling. The technology is clunky. It's not easy to use. You don't want to use it. This was everything I'd hoped it would be and more. We did not dine on property. Mm-hmm. We'll talk why in just a few minutes, but from looking at the menus, from looking at everything, this is sophisticated dining. You know, lots of things like pork belly and octopus and
goodness.
We're already looking at when we can go back.
Yes.
The girls had an absolutely wonderful time here. They loved it. I would venture to say, though, this feels more of an adult-driven hotel.
Yeah.
Just based on its style and its classiness and the high-tech stuff, I feel like. So we've already talked to some friends that are like, let's go back for like a couple's weekend. Yep. You know, we'll split a room, whatever. Let's actually dine at the hotel. Talk about the pool a little bit, which is very cool because it's on the second floor.
Yes. I just started to say, let's talk about the pool before we move on to Boxy Park. But the pool is on the second floor. And it is a very small pool, but it's a neat looking pool.
Yeah.
It has a line around the pool because if too many people get in and the pool water just goes into this. Yeah, it's super cool.
You wouldn't call it an infinity edge because it didn't overlook anything.
Right. But
it was water level. It was the ground was the level of the water.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until you just brought it up.
Yeah, it was super cool. And so there's no what do you call zero entry for sure. Right. There are like stairs and ladders and stuff. And I think it went as deep as
5 something.
5
something. I did not get in. The girls got in there.
The girls did. I think it was warmed.
Mm-hmm.
But the only downfall I will say is because, like I said, 6 miles from the Orlando International Airport.
I was just going to put this as a positive.
Again, it was cool. It wasn't horrible, but laying out by the pool, the planes just kept going over.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
We got to see planes fly directly above us over the pool. Yeah. I guess for me, that's like a little kid, like a little kid that loves to see trucks.
Yeah.
Or, who loves fire trucks or I felt like a little kid. I really actually enjoyed that aspect.
Oh, good.
I never heard them in the room.
Because we have a sound machine.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think
you certainly
unfortunately you could if you don't have a sound machine and hopefully that does not bother you. But and it's just something to note though, because if it does, you loved it. I didn't hate it, but I was like, oh, here comes another one. And I was like, how many times does one go over? How many planes go over in 5 minutes? And at one point, though, it was like 3.
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, wait, now they've stopped for a little while. Yeah. So, but again, it's just, one of those things to note because if it's not for you.
For sure.
Figure something out because I wouldn't say don't stay here because of that because it is amazing.
And speaking of the sound machine, we are coming to find we know lots of people that need sound at night. There's a lot of people that will run a fan. You're on vacation, you don't technically have a fan. We were using a sound machine app on our phone, but actually we went and stayed and shared a room with Kat and Michael one night, and they actually have it's standalone sound machine, regular power charged or USB.
Yep.
And that's all it does is sound. And it's very small, maybe 3 inch, 4 inch by 4 inch or something. It stays in our overnight bag all the time. And that's now what we use. And and it works really, really well. So if you are somebody that needs sound at night like that, I would look this thing up on Amazon. You probably just typed in sound machine. I don't even remember what brand and all
Kat
it is.
sent me the link.
Yeah,
So,
but highly, highly recommend that. All right, let's move on to my second favorite part of Lake Nona. Maybe my favorite part, Boxy Park.
Yeah. Why is it called Boxy Park?
Well, so the entrance and surrounding area. So it's basically this kind of outdoor venue area. You have an entrance and all. You kind of go. I mean, there's a security up front and all. You're thinking of it like you're entering a club, but it is open air. There are some covered areas and stuff, but again, open air outdoor does not cost to get in though. And there are shipping containers on their sides are basically the entrance. They're boxes. Boxy Park. I assume that's where it came from.
And I think there's shipping containers inside too.
Like I think there's a bar as soon as you walk in. I think it's actually made from a shipping container. There is a stage that is doing live music like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. There are food trucks and food containers throughout. There's like a play area. There's volleyball. There's like fields. This place is freaking awesome. Absolutely incredible. We would spend both Friday night there, Saturday night there, checking out live music, getting food. The first night we ate at Claw and Order.
Yep.
Food truck. What did we have there? And if you can't guess, this is a lobster-driven truck.
We had lobster fries, which is loaded with lobster, hollandaise, and chives for $9 is a small. We got that one. And then we also had the lobster mac and cheese, which is white cheddar Gouda sauce, cold water lobster, the shell pasta.
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Cavatappi.
Oh, okay. Truffle Parmesan breadcrumbs for $18. And I liked both of these. The lobster was amazing. The mac and cheese, I think they cooked the lobster... the pasta in the lobster water.
Yeah.
Because even if you didn't get a bite of the lobster with the mac and cheese, the mac and cheese still tasted like lobster.
Yeah, like the mac and cheese food truck over at Disney Springs. It's that same thing. And I think that was our biggest compliment about that as well, was that you can get the flavor of seafood and lobster even without the lobster. And I think that's really important. I think you're right. That's probably what they're doing, is using that same water to boil the pasta and all. Yeah, these were both very good. This was, this was our dinner that night. Throughout everywhere in Boxy Park, we would find out when we went to Foxtail Coffee Saturday morning, all throughout, like nobody takes cash.
Yeah, it's all card
or phone,
Apple Pay.
Yeah, no cash.
Yep.
So again, just us bringing cash this weekend didn't work out, but I think it's something important to know. If you're somebody who has spending cash or something, you usually take out cash, don't, or buy like a Visa gift card or something, which we've done before in the past as well, or we've bought a Disney gift card when we're at Disney, whatever. But across the street on Friday night, then there was an entire like town center area. This whole area is just so walkable. Which is really, really cool. And there's a lot of great venues. There's a lot of places to eat, even if you don't eat inside Boxy Park. And there was an art show going on. There was a DJ set up out there.
I'm sad I missed the art show, but I'm kind of happy because the kids did send a picture of a Stitch that I would have probably definitely bought.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, after walking all day at Volcano Bay, and walking around, because I did not get a scooter or anything or a wheelchair, my toe was done, and we ended up walking back to the hotel. And I was like, then I'm gonna stay and just rest.
I took the girls
because we were also going to Universal the very next day.
Yeah, still
still had to walk, so I was like, I'm done. So Jeremy, you did go to the art show, right?
Yep. Yeah, it did walk around. Really cool. Again, this is like your farmer's market set up. Lots of local vendors. In fact, I'm pretty sure Saturday mornings they do a farmer's market there. We did not see. We did have Foxtail Coffee Saturday morning, which was really, really good.
Like a Starbucks.
Then Saturday night we ended up eating from Park Pizza Food Truck. Had a pepperoni slice, a cheese slice. Very, very good. So one of the things that was recommended, and I got to give a huge shout out to Daniel Miller, our friend Professor Narcusi, and now again at Drunk at Disney. Twitter gave him his name back. I don't know if that was Elon Musk's doing while he was getting ready to buy Twitter. He thought, let's give this guy his handle back, but he's now operating under both. But Daniel lives in this area, very familiar with the area in Lake Nona. So he had given me some tips. One of the tips was that we had to ride Beep. What is Beep, Rhonda?
It is a car that drives itself.
Shuttle bussy, but small.
Yeah,
what do you figure? 8 people?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It is a self-driving vehicle.
Yep.
Fully. That will drive you through, I think it's 10 key destinations within the community, 5 different routes. There's 8 shuttles, 100% safety record. So if you're worried about a self-driving vehicle, it is 100% safer than a human being driving.
Yep.
Basically. And this thing goes, it only goes 12 miles an hour. I should
say, it doesn't go very fast, which I guess is nice.
Yeah.
But then you got, cars behind you that get mad and they're
the first night, I don't remember if it did it the second night when you did ride on it, because I rode on it with just the girls the first night. It pulled over at times when there was heavy traffic to let other cars by. There is an attendant on board. If stuff were to hit the fan, basically. What is insane, and first of all, they're very knowledgeable. They're telling you all about it. They're telling you about the safety record and how it works and where it goes. Also, if they need to, they can take immediate control of it. Here's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. How they take control of it is with a legitimate old school Xbox 360 controller.
Yep.
Like, I'm not even kidding. It didn't look like an Xbox controller. It was an Xbox controller.
Yes.
And that's what they could take over. So I think it was the second night. I know Sean, took over at one point.
Yep.
Our attendant there, and he was able to drive it and all. But we weren't there for the destinations. We were there for the actual ride. And it is worth just getting on for a joyride. We never even got out. I mean, we just rode it back and forth.
Yeah.
And it is such a cool experience. And it will pick you up there right outside of Boxy Park. So go watch some live music. Friday night was a live band. Saturday night was a DJ, almost like a rave. Your toe did not seem to be bothering you as much Saturday night because you were dancing up a storm.
A little bit.
I have some videos to prove it if I ever need to blackmail you one day.
Okay.
So Saturday, we headed to the parks, and we're going to close out here real quick. First of all, so proud of Lacey, who rode Velocicoaster for her first time.
Yep.
Her first ever inverted upside down roller coaster. I mean, she's never done rockin' roller coaster.
Nope.
Anything else.
Yep.
She was incredible.
Yep.
When Lacey's like me, when she gets nervous, she talks a lot, and she was filled with talking all the way leading up to this and asking questions and, well, how fast does it go? And what's the drop like? And what about this and this? So finally, we were waiting to ride Minions, which was my first time and the girls' first time riding. Cute ride.
Yeah.
We were waiting in line for that, and I finally pulled up a good point of view of the coaster, showed it to Lacey. Kaylin didn't want to watch it. It was going to be her first time as well. And Lacey was like, all right, I can do it. I was really waiting to get to boarding and her to back out.
Yep.
And the whole time she was going to ride with Cassidy.
Yep.
And in the end, just a minute or two before loading, she just looked at me and said, can I ride with you? I'm like, of course. So we get on. She looks good. Coming out. We're getting ready to go on the first launch. And I look over, and she is white as a ghost. And the look on her face, immediately in my mind, I'm thinking, how are we going to clean up this throw up? Because I'm not kidding. When I looked at her, I'm like, as soon as this thing takes off, she's going to throw up. And I'm starting to freak out a little bit. Boom, this thing takes off. We're maybe 20 seconds into the ride, and she screams, this is so much fun.
Aww.
She hasn't stopped talking about it since. She keeps saying, when are we going back to Universal? In fact, Sunday when we were leaving, she was like, would it be too much just to stop by Universal, ride Velocicoaster, and then go home?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we got to get home. We got stuff to do. But
well, and that's what I was going
to
say to where we were. I know we were 6 miles from the Orlando airport, but it was a good 20 to 30 minute give or take from.
We were door to door in 20 minutes. And you're pretty much straight highway. So, first of all, I would go to the Wave Hotel, and I would go to Lake Nona just to spend time there. Even if you weren't a theme park person or whatever, like I think it's a destination place for a good weekend.
Right.
A weekend getaway staycation, right?
I do believe it is about the same as Disney, but we did not go to Disney while we were there.
You're going to be equal parts 20 to 25 minutes to either of the parks. Heading there Saturday morning. Now, again, it's not like we drove there on a weekday morning during rush hour, but heading there Saturday morning, zero traffic, zero issues. So while it is 20 minutes away, I think this is an off-property opportunity for theme parks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand it might not be one if you are staying at Magic Kingdom till 11 p.m. because you may not want to drive 20 minutes after that. You know, you may want to take a quick, obviously, Disney transportation or be at an off-property hotel at Flamingo Crossing.
Right.
But I think this is a really viable source for the theme parks. And especially if you're like us who does theme parks at days and wants kind of a nightlife. I mean, the nightlife is there, especially if you're on a weekend. I would totally do this. And our plan was to do a staycation.
Yeah.
And then when Cassidy was coming, it was like, well, let's go ahead and enjoy Volcano Bay and the theme parks and all that. But super duper proud of Lacey.
Yes.
If you know Lacey, this was big for her. In fact, I tweeted it out and included Greg, I can't remember his last name, is one of the guys who built Velocicoaster, and he actually responded. I was like, this was big for her. And Universal and that team created a ride that even somebody who is scared to death of these types of rides can ride it and enjoy it and not stop asking about going back.
That's awesome.
Let's close out just real quick because we did dine at 3 Broomsticks for the first time. We've eaten at Leaky Cauldron. Kaylin loves the shepherd's pie, the cottage pie. Wanted to get that, so we went ahead. You and I split the fish and chips for $16.99. Cassidy got the smoked turkey leg, which we just laughed watching her eat, but she was super excited about it. That comes with wedge fries, and then
for
Kaylin got the
$15.49.
$15.49. Thank you. And then Kaylin got the shepherd's pie with garden salad for $16.49. That's ground beef, lamb, and vegetables, crowned with potatoes. On these orders, because we actually got 2 fish and chips, one for us to split, one for Lacey, turkey legs. We got 4 meals. This came out around $80, and then boom, pass holder discount knocked $12 right off. So it was, or 13, it was around $67 to feed all 4 of us. Which is, or 5 of us, I'm sorry, which is pretty good actually. One of the things I just absolutely love about Universal is APs is that discount everywhere.
Yes.
You know, on every single thing except alcohol. Even the Starbucks in your hotel lobby. Merchandise, food all around. I absolutely love it. But yeah, we really enjoyed everything. The
fish and chips were fantastic.
They're not traditional chips, and they I them wedge fries for the most part. They're the same fries you're getting. They're good. I like them.
They are.
They're not traditional.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it, and the fish was wonderful.
Fish was fantastic. I would almost compare it to the
Yorkshire.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought the fish was spot on, comparable
So
to
good.
Yorkshire. Just
So good.
the chips are different. I think it's more of a traditional chip at Yorkshire.
But they still had the vinegar on the table,
the malt vinegar,
which was great. You could put that on everything, and it was fantastic. I also loved how it came with a little cup of
tartar sauce.
Thank you. Which you don't, but I do, and
it looks like mayo filled with boogers.
Okay, well, it was fantastic. I loved it all.
Good, yeah.
The malt vinegar on it, the fish, the fries, everything was fantastic. In fact, Lacey wasn't eating some, and I was still kind of hungry, so I'm like, "Here, give me some." And then we did taste the shepherd's pie for Kaylin. And that was a really good shepherd's pie.
Super flavorful.
Very good.
Better than Finnegan's.
Yes, it was.
But not as good as Rose and Crown.
Correct.
But again, this is, let's go back to the burger at Volcano Bay. This shepherd's pie, to me, was not a quick service item. This was a table service sit down item. And the fact that the quality and flavor was so good.
Yeah.
This could have easily passed off as just some beef and veggies in a bowl with some mashed potatoes on top. Like, this could have been a quick service item, and you'd have been like, well, I ordered quick service. What else was I expecting? But instead, you're like, I got a quick service item. Now, again, it's priced at $16.49. I think it's, but this exact same thing. This would be $24 at a sit down restaurant. So was super happy with that. 3 Broomsticks and Leaky Cauldron, from what I can tell, and John's kind of pointed this out sometimes, they seem like those 50-50 spots. 50% of the people think they're garbage, and 50% of the people tend to really enjoy them. We've always been on the enjoy side.
Yeah, we've always been on the enjoy side. And it was so funny because Kaylin's little garden salad was very weak looking, which was fine. Again, you're not getting the shepherd's right. Yeah. You're not getting the shepherd's pie for the salad. You're getting the shepherd's pie for the shepherd's pie. But she did get Italian, which I was surprised at, instead of ranch. But yeah, she ate some of it, and then she really, really liked the shepherd's pie, which, like I said, Jeremy and I both tasted it and was really good. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I am there at Universal for Harry Potter World on either side. I love it. girls did get a frozen butterbeer. They actually gave us 2. We bought 1 and they just gave us 2, and they ate both of them.
Yep.
Loved it. And it's just so fun.
And the atmosphere and seating in here is wonderful. We actually got put at that big corner table over near the bar, and it was absolutely perfect. I really do love it. So there's a podcast, Dudes Dish Disney, and they just did an episode, and I already asked them, I'm like, can I please steal the idea? Because I think it's going to be a fun one. They basically did kind of like a battle against Galaxy's Edge versus Wizarding World on several different topics. So I put that on the calendar for us to do.
Okay.
And, we were going to battle out Galaxy's Edge versus Wizarding World and kind of see who wins. And I just thought it was such a cool idea. So, but I asked him, I was like, can I steal this idea? He's like, Of course, that's what we're all here for. So,
awesome.
If you want to bring the sense of the parks, resorts, the movies, and more to your home, we're excited to partner with Walter and Rosie Candle Company, which provides the happiest scents on earth. You can visit msmfriends.com to save 10% on your next order. Wonderful smells. They've got candles. They've got
they have dish
laundry detergent.
Laundry. Yeah,
we've done that.
Laundry.
Oh, absolutely love them. Car fresheners, all kinds of good stuff. So check them out at msmfriends.com. You're already on the internet. You should check out wonderlandcrew.com and go ahead and check out our Patreon group for just $7 a month. You get all kinds of additional live streams from the parks, content, some stuff from home, and you get to be part of another wonderful Facebook community and family. So again, check out wonderlandcrew.com and finally hit subscribe so that you can get new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And then we would just be so thankful if you'd leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.